Most people believe that big results come from big actions. That if you want to transform your life, you need to make a dramatic change, a complete overhaul, a bold, all-or-nothing decision. But what if that's exactly wrong? What if the secret to a fundamentally different life is something so small, so quiet, that most people walk right past it every single day? Imagine getting just 1% better at something today. Not 10%, not 50, just 1. That barely registers. You'd hardly notice it. But do that every single day for a year, and you'll be 37 times better than where you started. 37 times. That number isn't motivational fiction, it's compound mathematics. And it is the foundational idea behind one of the most influential books written in the last decade, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Today on The Mindful Edge, we're going deep into 5 ideas inside this book that have the power to permanently shift how you think, how you heal, and how you lead. These ideas work whether you're trying to meditate more consistently, recover from burnout, or show up better as a leader. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a framework you can apply tonight. Idea 1. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Here's a question worth sitting with. Why do 2 people set the exact same goal, to get fit, to meditate daily, to become a better leader, and one succeeds while the other doesn't? James Clear's answer is one of the most honest things I've read in any self-help book. It's not about the goal, it's about the system underneath it. Goals are about the results you want. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. And here's the critical insight. Every person who achieves a goal had a system. Every person who failed had a goal too. They just didn't have the system. Think about it this way. 2 athletes both want to win a championship. One trains inconsistently, shows up when motivated. The other shows up every single day, even when they don't feel like it, because their system doesn't depend on motivation. The first athlete is goal-oriented, the second is system-oriented, and the second athlete wins, not always in competition, but always in the long game. In your own life, stop asking what you want to achieve. Start asking what daily system would make that achievement almost inevitable. Idea 2. Identity is the foundation. Behavior is the evidence. Most of us approach change from the outside in. We decide on an outcome, lose weight, read more, stress less, and we try to modify our behavior to get there. James Clear says this is backwards. The most durable form of change starts from the inside out, specifically from identity, from who you believe yourself to be. Here's the difference in practice. 2 people are offered a cigarette at a party. The first says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." The second says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." Same outcome, completely different internal architecture. The first person is fighting against a desire. The second person is acting in alignment with who they are. Clear calls this identity-based habit formation. Every time you take a small action that is consistent with the identity you want, you cast a vote for that identity. You read 1 page, vote. You meditate for 2 minutes, vote. You choose the salad, vote. No single vote wins an election, but enough votes over time, they change who you are. So before you try to build a new habit, ask yourself, who is the person I want to become? Then start behaving like that person in the smallest possible ways right now. Idea 3. The 4 laws of behavior change. Visuals, a process unfolding, cause and effect, light switching on, decisions being made. Clear's most practical contribution to the field of habit science is what he calls the 4 laws of behavior change. Every habit, he argues, follows a 4-step loop: cue, craving, response, reward. To build a good habit, you work with this loop. To break a bad one, you work against it. The 4 laws are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Let me make this concrete. Say you want to build a daily meditation habit. Make it obvious. Put your meditation cushion in the middle of your bedroom floor. Don't hide it in a cupboard. The cue needs to be visible. Make it attractive. Pair the meditation with something you already enjoy. A cup of tea you love, a candle that creates a ritual feeling. You're linking the habit to a reward that already exists. Make it easy. Start with 2 minutes, not 20, not 45, 2 minutes. Clear calls this the 2-minute rule. Scale any habit down until it takes less than 2 minutes to start. The goal is to show up consistently, not to be heroic. Make it satisfying. Track the habit. Put an X on a calendar. Watch the chain grow. Never miss twice. These 4 laws sound almost too simple, but they are built on decades of behavioral science, and they work precisely because they remove the need for willpower and replace it with design. Idea 4. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes behavior. Here is something most of us underestimate dramatically: the role of our environment in shaping who we become. We like to think our behavior flows from our intentions, our willpower, our character. James Clear argues that far more often, it flows from our environment, the physical spaces we inhabit, and the cues embedded within them. Anne Thorndike, a physician at Massachusetts General Hospital, conducted a study where she changed the layout of a hospital cafeteria, placing water bottles next to every register while moving soda to the back of the fridge. No signs, no campaigns, no lectures. In 3 months, soda sales dropped 25%. Water sales rose by 35%. No one's willpower changed. The environment did. Clear calls this choice architecture, the deliberate design of your space to make desired behaviors easier and undesired behaviors harder. If you want to read more, place the book on your pillow. If you want to eat better, clear the unhealthy food from eye level in your fridge and replace it with what you actually want to consume. If you want to write, sit at a desk you only use for writing. Stop trying to motivate yourself. Start designing your world so that the right behavior is the default. Idea 5. The plateau of latent potential. Why results are always delayed. This may be the most important idea in the entire book because it addresses the moment most people give up. Imagine a block of ice sitting in a cold room. The room is at 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You slowly turn up the heat. 26 degrees, 27, 28, 29, 31. Nothing happens. The ice just sits there. 32 degrees. The ice begins to melt. Here's the question. Was all that work from 25 to 31 pointless? Of course not. Every degree mattered, but the results were invisible until a threshold was crossed. Clear calls this the plateau of latent potential. The work you do today doesn't produce visible results today. It accumulates, silently, invisibly, until the conditions are right for it to surface. This is why most people fail with habits. They work hard for 2 weeks, see nothing, and conclude the system isn't working. But the system was always working. They just quit before the ice started to melt. Every meditation session you sit through without feeling calmer, it's working. Every book you read without immediately seeing its impact, it's working. Every morning you show up to lead your team with more presence, it's working. The results are always delayed. Your job is simply to not stop before they arrive. Everything we've covered today, the system over goals, identity over outcomes, the 4 laws, environment design, and the patience to trust the plateau. It all points to one thing. Real change is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't feel dramatic in the moment. It shows up in the small, consistent choices that most people undervalue and eventually abandon. So here's what I want you to do. Not a 10-step plan. Just 3 things tonight. First, choose one habit, just one, the smallest version of something you actually want to build. Not exercise every day. Choose put on my running shoes after I wake up. That's it. Start there. Second, Design your environment for that habit. Move one thing in your physical space to make the desired behavior more visible and more accessible. Third, ask yourself this question: who do I want to become? Not what do I want to achieve. Who do I want to be? And then find the smallest possible action you can take tomorrow that the person you're becoming would take. One vote, that's all. One vote for the identity you're building. Because here's the truth, Atomic Habits keeps coming back to: you don't need to be exceptional. You don't need to overhaul everything. You just need to be slightly better, consistently, patiently, over time. And slightly better, compounded, changes everything. Atomic Habits is one of those books that you can read in a weekend, but will think about for years. Because its real gift isn't information, it's a shift in perspective. It invites you to stop looking for the dramatic turning point and start trusting the quiet, daily process, the mind and body you want. The clarity, the calm, the leadership presence, they're built one small decision at a time, not one big one. If this video gave you one idea worth keeping, I'd love to know which one. Drop it in the comments below. Your answer might be exactly what someone else in this community needs to hear today. If you haven't subscribed to The Mindful Edge yet, now is a good time. Every week we go deep into a book on mind, body, or leadership. Not to summarize it, but to find the ideas inside it that are genuinely worth living by. Next week, we're looking at The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, specifically why your mind's relationship with time might be the source of more suffering than anything actually happening in your life. That one is going to hit differently.
Until then, keep going, 1% at a time. Like and subscribe for more informative videos.